Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be Inspirational Leaders. I'm going to do a series where we're having conversations, real conversations with people who have inspired me. And today we are with Michelle Thompson, who runs Healing in the Air, YouTube channel, and coaching all around, transformational coaching, empowering women to really step in and change their lives. So we're going to hear a little bit more about Michelle and all of those good things that she has going on. And I hope that you check her out as well. But welcome, Michelle. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. It's nice to be here. Thank you so much.
You bet, you bet. So as we're kind of going through, I want to know first what inspires you? What lights your fire? What just gets you excited in the morning?
Well, first of all, my sons. I have two adult sons. One's Shane, one's Trey, one's 30, and one's 26. The love of my life.
Mm.
Wouldn't trade them in for anything. The moment I see them, get a text from them or call from them, it just my soul just gets, really, really, really. I feel great, when I'm, connected to them. The next biggest thing that lights my fire is empowering people. I think I've been empowering people like for all my life. Ever since I was small, I would always, try to give a kind word to somebody. If I saw them with a sad face, I would, just say, "Hey, I hope you have a good day," or just words of empowerment. But my biggest thing with the business is all about healing in the air. I went through a very tumultuous marriage. And I take accountability because I'm imperfect, just as well as my ex-partner um, had something to do with the breakup. But healing in the air has a lot to do with partners who've been ghosted. And I myself was ghosted several years ago. I came home from a business trip and walked in the house, went upstairs, and noticed that my side still had clothes there, but his side was completely empty. And I wasn't in shock immediately. The shock didn't come to me until like 2 to 3 months later. I guess it took me that long to process it.
Yeah.
Um, but when I did process it correctly, I literally had to have a mental funeral.
Mhm.
And after the mental funeral, the depression came in. And from that, I did not want to go anywhere. I didn't want to socialize with anybody. I didn't even want to spend time with my kids, my family, I didn't want to travel, and that's what I love to do. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to put my makeup on, dress up. I mean, my life was like in a slump.
Mhm.
Um, this went on for about a little bit over a year, more close towards 2 years. I
Yeah.
was this way. And there were times, I'm putting all my business out, there were times in the beginning of the depression that I would not, my hygiene
Yeah.
was just not 100%. And I guess that's to be expected,
Yeah.
when you're
Absolutely.
going through tough times like that. So that's what I experienced. But it wasn't until the year and a half mark where I was like, you know what? I'm here. Let me pull myself together and, do this not just for my kids, but for myself. I owe this to myself,
Yeah.
because the mere reason that I'm still here, it makes sense to me that I may have a purpose behind this, right?
Mhm.
The mere fact that I'm still here, like this situation didn't take me out and I'm still here.
Yeah.
So, saying that to myself, I was just like, okay. And I took baby steps, you know, I would, comb my hair, you know, The next day I would put on a little lipstick. The next day, and like I said, baby steps. I had to gradually get into the swing of things, get into me again, because in that situation, I lost myself, Katie.
Mhm.
I totally lost myself because I was making sure that he was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's important, I think, as you're thinking about just kind of this journey. And I think we probably all experience it to some extent where there's, something that happens and a shift in our life, and we have to figure out how to navigate through that. And, I've experienced it more on the burnout side. But when you're deep into that depression, and that mental funeral for you, when you said that, and we're in a mastermind group together, and your stories as we're learning more about each other in the months that we've spent together. It's so inspiring. And that when you said that the other day about having that mental funeral, let's kind of go back to that. Tell me a little bit more about what that was like. What happened when you say you had a mental funeral?
Okay, so I can compare it to when you actually lose someone in real life.
Mhm.
Like say like you lose um a cousin or something by death,
Mhm.
Um and I'm going to say not just by death, but all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's not like a death that you're like waiting, like a person is like in a coma. You're prepared for that and you pretty much know, hey, mentally, let me prepare, it's gonna happen approximately in about a month or two or whatever. Well, this one was like comparison to like a car accident and
Yeah.
losing someone, like all of a sudden, like tragically. So the mental funeral was just like that, just, um, the grief,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, it was a hurt so bad, Katie. I couldn't even cry.
Yeah.
I could not,
Mhm.
I couldn't even, and I was like I was trying my best. Like, but
Yeah.
I can't even cry.
Yeah.
The mental funeral was just that painful,
Yeah.
for me, and granted, going through those emotions, I still had to show up to work.
Yeah.
you know Thank goodness, my job, I work from home, and I wasn't we didn't have to show up on camera, so I pretty much faked it till I made it, through those times when I was depressed and going through that. But the mental funeral, I'm glad I went through it, because
Hmm.
it toughened me up, it built me up to where I am now, mentally. I think I'm in a better space. I'm not 100%, but I think I'm in a better space.
Yeah. I think when you said that the first time, and it really kind of got me thinking about that. I know people who have been through really heart crushing relationships that ended not by their choice, but by the betrayal and the things that were going on in that relationship. And I've heard something similar in that, where it's almost like that mental funeral is the kind of that permission, like you said, to kind of to grieve, right? To start that grieving process. And then to be able to pick yourself up and move on. And you talked about that your mind kind of at some point kind of shifted into this space of, okay, well, I have other things to live for, there's things that need me. What do you think, or do you remember something specifically happening where it was just kind of this light bulb mind shift? What were the changes in your head, the voices in your head, or what you were telling yourself? What changed in that?
Kind of like what sparked me to like,
Yeah.
go towards my healing journey.
Yeah.
I think it began when my oldest son was heading towards his graduation, to receive his bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
I was still grieving, and um, his graduation was like 2 months away. So I was like, you know what? This is what I have. And this is what I need to focus on right here is him, becoming the person that he's meant to be, living his dream. So it's like I have to be around for that, to
Yeah.
see not only his graduation, but the rest of his long life play out after his graduation, because his dream is to someday, first of all, his bachelor's is in cinematography. So, but his dream is to own his own, and he does have his own studio right now, but he's just getting off the ground. But his
Yeah.
dream is to own like a whole building, uh, that's based, working with other cinematographers. Yeah, that's his dream. So that would be selfish of me to want to give up and not see that dream play out for him.
Hmm.
So that right there, got my wheels grinding, and I was like, you know what? I'm hurt. I was still hurting inside, right? I'm hurting inside, but I'm gonna put myself down and I'm gonna focus on him
Hmm.
because he deserves every part of me right now.
Hmm.
He didn't get me 100% at the graduation. I was probably at 50%,
Yeah.
but he didn't know it. He didn't know it.
But he got you,
He got
right?
me.
He got you.
He got me. And that's all that mattered. He walked across the stage, and I think I was the loudest parent there.
Love that.
I was the loudest parent there because I think I got stares from like everybody. I didn't care, you
Yeah.
know, because they didn't know what I just went through.
Hmm.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like a big deal for him and a big deal for me because it's like I get to see a part of myself accomplish, you know, things in life. So I was very, very proud that day. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me too, I think I kind of called that phase kind of the awakening, right? Where it was kind of this again being able to see life outside of just myself, and being able to say like, okay, I have to step into this power and I need to be able to I control what I can control, and that is how I show up and who I'm showing up for. And I love that. And I think for me too, it kind of then went from this awakening to this revival, right? Where it's just like, okay, now it's a fresh new way. It's, that part of me, like you said, there was a purpose for that part of your life and that journey. And although it was really hard appreciating what you went through so that it got you to be here. So about that, like what would you say were your biggest learnings from just going through that experience? What has changed you to be who you are now?
Um, just I don't think I ever um emotional intelligence.
Mm,
It has heightened my emotional intelligence. I think it was there, but I think going through that has really put it at an all-time high. I think that experience has put my communication skills to, 1,000. It has made me look at other people differently. Um, to not trust as easily as I did with this person.
hmm.
Um, in the beginning, I did have my guards up really, really high. Um, and I was very reluctant on getting married.
Yeah.
Um, but the guards came down. So again, I won't trust, as quickly as I did. And it was a long time before I trusted that person. But I think
Yeah.
I need to give myself a little bit longer
Yeah.
time to trust if I'm heading into another relationship. I think there needs to be that time. I also need to vet better. When I see the signs, and if there are red flags or whatever, it could be pink. I should not paint them green.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And what do you think has changed within yourself as you move through life? Like, one, just recognizing that, right? Recognizing probably some of those red flags that were there the whole time that in your mind, when the relationship started, you painted green, probably wasn't necessarily anything that happened something changed, but they were probably there, didn't necessarily, um, recognize them. So what do you think, where are you today in your just confidence and emotional intelligence that is different from where you were years ago?
Um, I think that I'm more vulnerable. I can communicate my feelings more openly, now based on then. While in a relationship, sometimes I would feel like I had to walk on eggshells.
Mhm.
And that's not a good spot for anybody to be. Also while in a relationship, I was stonewalled for the majority of the time. He would come in from work, and I would say, hey, how was your day or how was your night, depending on what shift he was on. And he would look me in my eyes and I wouldn't get an answer. I wouldn't get anything. And that's for the remainder of the night. So I think that, that has taught me, how to, um, the biggest lesson I'm gonna tell you, what I deserve,
Mm,
what I
yes.
deserve. And
Yeah.
I did not deserve that. And
Mm-mm.
it has also taught me the moment something happens or the moment someone treats you that way, that's the moment you get up and you leave
Yeah.
because you do not deserve that. And I think I stayed too long.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I stayed too long. Oh, I overstayed.
Yeah.
So kudos to me. I'm not in that situation anymore, but it has taught me self-love. I've had to literally walk my way back to myself, to love myself again and to find myself. And like I said before, I'm not 100% there, but I'm close to it. I am very, very close to it. And it, like I said, it taught me who I am and what not to tolerate.
Yeah. I think that's important too. And I think in relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship or a work relationship or even a friendship relationship, that point that you said, you stayed too long.
I
And I think
stayed.
we stay too long because we're wanting and hoping the other person changes.
Yes, yes. And that won't, in most cases, Katie, that will never
No,
happen. That will
no.
never happen. So it's like just, that gut feeling, that you have, just
Yeah.
go off just go with that. Just go
Yeah.
with, and that gut feeling was there for me. It was there.
Yeah.
And it's like I totally like brushed it off like, no, this is going to get better. This is going to get better. But that mindset, no. Just throw that out the window because it will never get better. You have to do what's best for you.
Yeah. You have the power to change.
I have the power to change. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's important um when you're going into the dating arena to like really, really vet them and actually know like how they were raised, really, really deep dive into like their background, did their parents emotionally abuse them? Were they, sexually, abused or whatever. Just all the negatives,
Mhm.
um, your past relationships. How did you cope once they ended? Were you in therapy? Just all those questions that I did not ask. I
Yeah.
didn't ask those questions. And
Yeah.
so there you have it, me
Yeah.
in that situation right there, and vice versa. He did not ask me about my past situations. And so here we are, two people possibly traumatized, right? In a
Yeah.
situation and it goes kaboom.
Mhm.
When in
Mhm.
fact that had that happened in the beginning, all the extra vetting and everything, it would have been better off.
Mm. And how has that led you to really devoting your time and passion into healing in the air?
Because by I'm an empower. I like to, like I said in the beginning, I like to encourage people. So by me going through such a dramatic ordeal, I don't want anybody else to go through, male or female. I don't want anyone else to go through that. And since I've had healing in the air, believe it or not, I've run into people who have had the same, like on the streets. just in conversation, like I'm in the grocery store and, people just feel so comfortable telling me their stories.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they'll come to me and it's like, going through a terrible divorce. And I was like, I understand. I understand. And, the ghosting is very, very, very common these days. So yeah.
Tell me a little bit about where, you know, kind of a little bit about healing in the air and, you know, what you're really, what's kind of your ideal coaching person? You know, how do you want them to experience you in that coaching space?
First of all, I want them to feel safe with
Hmm.
me. And I want them to trust me, because when I was going through my ordeal, I didn't have a safe space at all.
Yeah.
That's even more reason why I wanted to create this for people who are suffering in silence.
Hmm.
Um, I want to be that empowerment coach to help you to hold your hand, and let's do this. Let's walk through this. I want to be that compass. I want to be that navigation tool for them. Let's start this, let's have the mental funeral. Let's walk this out, step by step, day by day. I want to provide those affirmations for you. I want to provide that voice of empowerment, that safe space. That's what I want to create, that type of community. And all those who have experienced the ghosting of their spouse, welcome in. This is your new home.
Yep.
This is your new home.
Yeah.
This is your safe
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. So, in just kind of one last thing as we wrap up, what is a parting word or piece of advice that you can give someone out there who is really, well, your story is hitting home for them and they're in the thick of, that process of that letting go or that deep depression? What's gonna give us some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Don't give up. If they left, it's for a reason.
Mhm.
Go no contact. Um, it starts from here, and something good will come out of this. I guarantee you, because look at me. I survived, and you can survive too.
Amen. Amen. Love that. Thank you so much for being here with us, Michelle. If you want to check out Michelle's YouTube, I will have that linked and some contact information for Michelle so you can reach out to her and take advantage of her amazing coaching services. I have been blessed to get to know you throughout our mastermind process, and I just continue to look forward to supporting and empowering each other. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.